You have people listening from every corner of this planet. No knowledge has been dispersed so beautifully, so balanced across the planet, on this planet ever, maybe in the universe. You have the full potential of achieving everything in the universe. There is no need and there is no reason for man not to achieve. So, wherever you are, the way I taught you to make the coils double coil inside, you have continuous equal gravitational magnetic field, and if you put CO2 on it, and you put zinc on it, you have connected the emotion of the man to it on a stable condition, and you'll find out you become a very peaceful man. Here, instead of having galaxies and universes and creating connection magnetically, we have used the matter state gravitational magnetic field strength to dominate and dictate the shape of the plasma. The nanotechnology, the nanomaterial which you have collectively developed in different ways, by caustic, by electric currents, by whatever, fire or whatever, has that advantage that the matter, the nano and the plasma is all the same. So connection is very solid, it's very strong. The power of the plasma technology, the way we have thought, is beyond imagination of the man. Now you can create and control the plasma, which is the mother of the creation of the universe. You are given the seed of the essence of the creation. The foundation does not belong to no one and is not made of one anymore. You are developing it, you are structuring it, and from today we will be still the same. We'll still develop the technology in different names, in different colors, in different nationalities which they do not exist. It is beautiful when we see the Christian, the Muslims, the Jews, and every other belief are working together to build up systems. We have already become one faith. We already have become one nation, and we already become one planet. You got to remember one thing. Dates is irrelevant. Today is the last day of the Christian calendar, or tomorrow is the beginning of another. One day is connected to another. We don't stop. We are working around the clock. The Keshe Foundation team is working irrespective of time, position, religion, country. And now we achieve what we set out for.
You're invited to partake in the creation of humanity's first Universal Community Council on April 21st and 22nd, 2016 in Dubai at the One Planet, One Nation, One Race Conference. World leaders and prominent business persons have been invited to attend. However, representatives of the Council will be selected irrespective of language, race, creed, or position in life. The Council will have many responsibilities. It will support the people of humanity and their governments. It will help bring balance across the globe and unite humanity for the benefit of all mankind. It will act as a bridge between humanity and the universal community. The cost of admission to the conference is €750, which includes one seat in the main conference room and 3-night stay in one of Dubai's prestigious hotels, 2 persons per room. Discount airfares are also available. The One Planet, One Nation, One Race Conference. You're invited. We hope to see you there.
Why not?
Konferenz, Werbevideo Sprachtext. Sie sind am 21. und 22. April 2016 in Dubai an der Konferenz Ein Planet, eine Nation, eine Rasse eingeladen für die Schaffung des ersten universellen Gemeinderates. Führende Weltpolitiker und berühmte Geschäftspersonen wurden eingeladen, jedoch werden die Vertreter des Rats unabhängig von Sprache, Rasse, Glaubensbekenntnis oder ihrer Position gewählt. Der Rat wird viele Verantwortungen haben. Er wird die Völker der Menschheit und ihre Regierungen unterstützen. Er wird helfen, das Gleichgewicht rund um den Erdball für das Wohl der gesamten Menschheit zu beeinen. Er tritt als Brücke zwischen der Menschheit und der Universalgemeinschaft auf. Die Kosten für die Zulassung zur Konferenz beträgt €750, welches ein Sitzplatz im Hauptkonferenzraum und 3 Übernachtungen in eines der renommierten 5-Sterne-Hotels, 2 Personen pro Zimmer, beinhalten. Rabattflugpreise sind ebenfalls verfügbar. Sie sind eingeladen auf die Ein Planet, eine Nation, eine Rasse-Konferenz. Wir hoffen, Sie dort zu sehen.
Okay, welcome everyone to the 106th Knowledge Seekers Workshop of the Keshe Foundation Spaceship Institute for Thursday, March 24th, 2016. And today we've been promised another intense day with the workshop. Mr. Keshe has left the message, very busy day, be ready for a lot. And I think he will be telling us some about that right away. So, Mr. Keshe, I think you're available.
Yes, good morning.
Hi.
Thank you very much, Rick. Thank you very much, Vince, and everybody else behind, as usual. Good morning, good day to you. Whenever and wherever you listen to these teachings, as we teach each other the knowledge of a space, the way we gain. We are the front runners of the new technology, new science, and in that process, coming hours, we will start using the final stages of what we have, what we know, and what is important in the research and development. Hopefully, by the end of the day today, we will gather some enough knowledge to understand a lot in how the new space technology has become and used by governments in some aspects, and has been used, understanding, and shelved by some governments. Today is, in principle, Innovation Day. In a way, we release new knowledge, new technology, using what we already know, but bringing data in. And these data, and some of it which I have seen, we will shock you. Will shock a lot of people beyond understanding. But by the end of the day today, every single one of us, every single human being on this planet will be benefited by what is going to be disclosed today. The data and the research which has been hidden from public will be opened up. You got to realize that we are in the process of changes. We are part of the change ourselves, and in part we create and have created changes. The most important thing for us is how to start bringing all the points together that we achieve what we promised and what we wanted to do. We will bring in people on a regular basis from now on to all of us collectively understand the changes which are coming in respect to us getting ready to take off into space the way we wanted, the way we planned, as one nation, as one group, as one humanitarian. So the changes which to come will affect all of us. When we make decision to go to space, we have an option. Do we like to take our family with us? Are we going together that we don't miss to come back? Are we going with the certainty that the future in space is bright? The future is for all of us and the same. It's the first time we have the opportunity to explore the space as a unit, not at odd people from different parts of the world put together. We have the chance to change, and we are changing it. It's for the first time we're going into space knowing that we don't have to worry about food. We don't have to worry when the next supply arrives. We don't have to worry about if the energy is going to be there. We are not going to be worried about if the diseases, the viruses in the space can be handled by us. For the first time we live with a certainty knowing that we are safe because we have learned the rules of the space technology. We learn how to behave, we learn how to produce things, and we learn where to go. Today we finish with the past and we start with the new. Whatever has happened in the past, we done to ourselves, to our fellow men, to our environment, we start finishing today and starting a new page to clean up. Why is it important today? And we said that it's going to be disclosures, is because we start cleaning up. Cleaning up in what we've done together. We saw the mayhem which they accuse one religion to other doing it because it pays to do. We've seen information and all sorts of what is become national, what I call play, in seeing how much they can put information to create mayhem. Discrediting one religion or the other is always Muslims against Christians and the Jews against the Muslims and the rest. The strange thing is, how many of these bombings has happened? Did it happen? Why has it happened? Why we have millions of refugees in different parts of the world? Why are we as human race bombing each other to annihilation? Has the human race grown from 1 million years ago when its first seed was there? Or we have become more sophisticated to kill each other? Just to prove we can. There is no other logical reason for it. None of us take wealth with us, and none of us takes anything more than the skin and the flesh we come. And when we go, we don't even know where this flesh will go, which animal will eat it. Do we become part of a worm, or are we eaten by a wolf? We have lost track of our own essence of creation, which was to be alive, to enjoy to be alive, and like the birds and the fish, free on this land. All we have learned is to kill, and now we're becoming very good at it in hundreds and thousands. And if you look, the wars are concentrated wherever there is money, where it makes money for people to sell arms. It makes money for people to show their power. And behind all these 63 religions, all coming from the children of Abraham. In the past, we saw wars in all sorts of ways, but this tribe has really topped it up. They have done the murder in the name of religion, and making one worse than the other, and then trying to say who's right. Today, where are we going to go? We are all intermarried, Christian to Jews, Jews to Muslims, and Muslims to Christians, and Hindus, and God knows in every shape or form. The pot is too mixed. The pot of human race has become too mixed up in every shape or form. Religion, race, color, and everything else. Where are we going to go? We have two choices. Now that we open the space technology, are we going to take this animal behavior into space and annihilate ourselves beyond the boundaries of this planet? Or are we going to change and bring the change about through before we go through space? There are a number of groups which have already taken into space. There are a number of people who have managed to achieve lift. There are a number of people who have managed to create the elusive spaceship into space. And there are a number of people who are in the process of achieving the conversion, of becoming the true man of space. The problem has to be solved before we go into space. The problem is to be solved here for our food, for our energy, for our medicine, for our flight system, for the materials we might need in the space to be able to make home before we take off, because there we are a small number of people, not in the mass as we are on this planet. We have two choices. We can go on what we see now, on murdering in mass to collect and make, create huge diversion and conversion of people into what we see a handful of people trying to prove to each other. Religions financing wars to prove who's more powerful, religions gathering together and in one side fighting, another side collaborating to destroy the other. The biggest problem on this planet has become the path of belief into God. And once we sort this out, you'll find out that in the space there is only one God. So why are we fighting for? Are we in a position to let the past go? Or do we have to destroy the past that there is nothing to go for? We have no choice but to go forward. It seems that the human race has chosen the second. We go so far that we have nothing to go back to, so we have to go forward. And in fact, the human race has got to that point already. We have destroyed the center of the cultures of thousands of years. We brought Baghdad and Iraqi history of thousands of years to ground. We've done the same thing in Syria. Libya is not far, and the second one, and the third, and the fourth, and the rest. And strange enough, it's all in Islamic countries, financed by the Christians, supported by the Jews. We hear, we see, the same plan is set for Iran in the coming time. Thousands of years of history to be wiped out in one go. But let's do something else. Instead of fighting, let's unite. Instead of destroying, let's see what we can do. Let's see who are the causes of these problems. Maybe by seeing who's the cause and what is the cause, we can stop the future mayhem. We see the cause mainly has been on the name of God, how we believe in it and the way we've chosen to believe in. Those who call themselves Jews, those themselves call themselves the man of rabbi, chief rabbi. We have taken your position away from you from today. We end up with Judaism. This was the promise. You were promised that the time will come. And now how we finish with it is not by destroying and ending up the state of Israel. We elevate the Jews to one point, to be level and equal with the Christians and the Muslims. There was a promise that with time, when when the Mashiach will come. He has come, and today we declare it. We finish with the state that the faith of Judaism exists. Chief Rabbi of Israel, your term is finished. It's time to start the process of peace. Your position does not exist. We finished with the state of Israel as it's become Palestine, as it's become part of the Middle East, as it's become part of one planet. This will be very harsh, and this was the biggest nightmare of Jewish state on 2016. And we warned and they were aware of it. When I explained I am the Messiah, I am the Mahdi, I received a communication. Are you going to declare that you are Messiah as well? Yes, we are. The State of Vatican gone the same. There is no place for a pope and no priest, because we are all the same and we believe in one God. Because we all have reached the level of maturity of the religions of the past. That means we are all equal. Brothers, do not fight. The same goes. We removed the station of Ayatollah Khamenei as the head of the Shia Islam, because they have served their purpose. We thank them for what they've done. But time has come. We can't have head of different religions, as there is no religion but the path of God. The same goes with the muftis and heads of the Sunni Shia. Means there is no need for religious leaders when the men start believing in the truth and they all work towards a peace. This way, we don't destroy, we don't abolish, but we elevate all the states in one go to the same level. So, as of today, there is no religion, state in fighting for to have more of. We invite the Jewish community to become part of the peace process in giving hand in developing technologies with the Christians and the Muslims for the peace on this planet. The time of punishment has finished. It will not work. You choose when you want to leave. We have chosen. You have already left. We chosen the path of peace, and with this process we elevate all the same to equal. That's how we become one race. That's how we become one nation. The state of Palestine does not exist, as where has been the shame on Muslims and how they could not protect and feed their own. The Jews walking streets of New York last Sunday have proclaimed, knowing the time has come for the change. I come from a Jewish background. I am Kohen. I come from Islamic background. I am Sayyid. And with it, have brought the beginning and the end together with Christianity. They're all the same and equal. So as of today, we have finished. This was the biggest and biggest nightmare of the Jewish leaders. Tell them he has declared two choices: kill me or join me in peace. Killing me brings more in. Some of you had a lot of question how Mossad has not killed him up to now. I am Kohen. And the Jews know you do not touch Kohen. It's blood of the Prophet. I am Sayyid, the same with the Muslims. Through my grandmothers, I stand the same. In fact, we all have become messiahs. We all have become Mahdi, and we all have become Mashiach. Because we all work on one direction, and that's to bring peace for humanity without asking each other's religion, the color or race. How many of you supporters of Keshe Foundation, which runs into millions, have asked the other, what is your religion? Have you noticed? You already have become one race. How many of you have asked about the color of each other? Have you asked Renan why you look Filipino? Has any of you asked Alice why you're black? Have you, any of you, asked Rick, as a white man in Canada, what you're doing? We promote each other, we work together, and we have become to understand that the Keshe Foundation supporters have become mature enough to become the new race on this planet. We have become colorblind. We have become race blind. We have become national blind. Do we need to push this frontier further by showing what can be done? Or do we going to fight like they've done in the past to prove we are correct? We do not fight, we just add so much to the knowledge that there is no need to fight. You will understand today why we called you to be here. By the end of round 12, 1 o'clock, you will understand what the gift has been given to you. You will understand that whatever has been the problem is not a problem anymore, because instead of fighting it, we have used this opportunity to progress. They tell me, why am I so harsh on some and go soft on the others? I don't do. It's just that when we see incorrect conduct, it's our job to correct it. And we've done so in the past few weeks, and you will see most of it in the coming weeks. We have moved on. We set up the center in Belgium. We set up the center here in Italy. We set up the center here in Dubai. We're setting up centers across the world because it's all the same. We teach the same. We have become faceless but powerful. Powerful in spreading the knowledge of peace through technology. As I said, there is no more Judaism. Finished as today. Rabbi's job are finished. Thank you very much for thousands of years bringing humanity to the point of at least being there to survive to see the fruit of it today. But as of today, the state of Israel does not exist. State of Israel become part of one planet, one nation. The same is with Iran, Iraq, Palestine, United States, China, and the rest. World leaders did not deliver except to their own pockets. Now we deliver to every man's, every human soul, which then it decides what needs to be in the pocket of life, not in the pocket of the suit of the man. So, a lot of Jews were fearful of today, but yes, your fear of facing the final days of being warmongering for centuries and thousands of years has come to end. Now you can live in peace, knowing you're loved by everyone else, the same as you loved everyone else, but the fear of existence has brought you to this behavior. We see the opening of the Palestinian doors, the Islamic doors, and the Vatican. We move into Rome to take the seat of the place of the Keshe Foundation in Rome soon. We move into Beijing and the other places the same. All the Christians, the 72 boats of the Christ, have landed and are on shore. The same is with different sects of Islam. So now you tell me, what religion do you believe in? Except one, the unity of God and serving humanity in a peaceful manner. And this is not the path of God, and this is not the correct path. So you surely have agenda to destroy yourself, not the others. We shower you with love, and we care, and with knowledge that you can survive the spans of the universe now that we have opened the door. Are there any questions before we start the session today? silence. We are ashamed of our ancestors, what they've done to us for a small piece of land and a few gold coins in their pocket. Maybe from now on we can change the humanity. We have as much gold as we like in our heart, and we have every diamond in our heart to shine like a gold. No questions.
Well, there was a comment in the chat that's from Bernkron, who says, Mr. Keshe, to be politically correct and so your words are not going to be taken out of context, it is not the Jews but rather the Zionists to which you speak. As you most likely know, Iran has the largest population of real Orthodox Jews outside of Israel. Just like it is not the Pope, but the Dark or Black Pope, aka the Jesuits and their general, and not Islam or Muslims, but rather the evil Wahhabis. Those are the real, those are the three evils, this person says.
Let it this way, we have blamed enough each other with different names. Is for you to give through the systems and the technology that you understand to change the soul of the man. I come from the both. I come from the most Orthodox Jewish family in Iran. I come from the same, if you see my cousins. I have cousins who are in the Israeli army and I have cousins who are in the Iranian army. But they all love the same. This is us who's got to give to both sides, that we elevate them. And now that we abolished the most possible way to create war, which has been the name of the religion, there is no need for it. Let them call themselves whatever they like. We give the gun of love with the bullets of giving, and let's see how much they can last. The biggest problem was to bring equal those who used inequality to their own advantage or thought they did. I declared and I explain again, the chief rabbi of Israel, both sides. The two rabbis change every 6 months. Their job is changed, it's finished. There is no job. There is no job as a pope because people have become their own popes to conduct correct. The beauty of it will be if from now, from today on, all these lands in the name of the church, in the name of the synagogue, in the name of the mosques, will be given back to the people to live and start living. Would the assets go back into developing structures which looks after the people? Is there a need for Vatican? I don't see. The house of God has to be in the heart of the man in the space, not in the brick and mortar which creates more mayhem and murder. The love of God we carry in ourselves to be correct. And that's all has been said. Not thou shalt not steal. Is there a need for Mecca? Or is there a need for mosques? Or is there a need for holy land, which the most unholy things has come from it? When we all believe in one unity of the God, how does it matter? We are black, white, yellow, short, tall, speak different languages, because in our heart we carry one thing. We are part of the Creator and we are the givers. So it doesn't matter what we receive, because we receive what we need at the time when we need. Send a message to Tel Aviv. The time is finished. The state of Israel, who's been the cause of most of the wars to stay alive, is finished. Same with Palestine, the same with the whole of Middle East and the rest of the Asian continent and the Europe and the rest. Because we become one family. Why do we need to be connected to one? I get hugged by my Jewish cousins, same as my Muslim cousins. The love is the same. When my child gets cuddled by his Catholic aunt, it's the same love, it's pure, unconditional. Those who create differences to benefit by the differences have finished their time. Doesn't matter what shape or name you put on them. Let's see if the shivers does not go on the back of the leaders of those who created war for benefit of themselves. You will see how we open the doors slowly, but very, very gradually, but perfectly from now. Any other question?
It's very interesting, Mr. Kish. This is Ali speaking. This morning in the 3-year teaching, I basically went through the same thing with the class, and we came up to the concept of religion, and the exact things that you were saying today. I was instructed to say that to the class, and it's a huge understanding for all humanity. It's basically changing the history of man and where we are heading as one race. And first we got to really understand what it means in all level, and also one other thing is to educate people, kind of like a theosophical society where people understand their relationship of themselves with the creator of this universe, and know that they are part of this structure, and we are actually like a fish in the water, and we are living and breathing in the water, and God is within us and is part of us, and knowing that allows us to connect, and we have to really educate and make people understand this connection that they have with the source of all life. And as you were saying, the source is within our hearts, and we are here to help the planet, to heal each other, and to see each other as one family, and connect in our hearts, and set our differences aside, and see everyone as our brothers and sisters, as one race as well. And this is a huge moment for the history of mankind, and it's a great honor for all the participants on this knowledge seeker workshop to be here and to learn firsthand from Mr. Kish and others that we are changing the history at this time. And it's a great honor for everybody, and please spread the message everywhere so other people would know. And my understanding is that there's going to be, through Keshe Foundation, we're going to create educational institution, as we have done before, that the knowledge and the true knowledge of our connection with our Creator are going to be disclosed, and you're going to have first-hand experience through that journey that you're going to have within yourself, going in and realizing the truth. And it's a really beautiful journey that after millions of evolution that we've gone through ups and downs in our history, we have come to this point. And thank you, Mr. Kish, for being the first to disclose this information. Thank you.
You're welcome. Are there any questions?
Yeah, Mr. Kish, it's Louis Gino from Canada. How are you?
Good morning. You're still in Italy?
Yes. It takes a while to get over contracts. Anyway, yesterday we had some questions, and you said you were going to address them today regarding what I discussed with people that can heal their bodies through plants, and we can't do anything with them when they're eating animal products. Do you remember?
I'll answer you this at the end of the session today. You will understand.
Okay, sure. No, thank you.
There's a question in the chat. How we can elevate their souls, those religious people and leaders who gets money in the name of God?
You don't need to elevate. Give from your soul to the ones who need it, and then they find out that they don't need to give to these people. These people can only exist when we feed out of the weaknesses of others in their soul. When we strengthen the supporters of the Judaism, when we elevate the supporters of the Islam, or Christianity, or Buddhism, to a level that they're all equal, and understand that they're equal, then we find out they won't contribute. So the job of priests, mullahs, imams, rabbis, in the coming time will be eliminated, because we behave conduct correct. We do not need to be fear of what we've been afraid of. The religions of today, in every shape or path, they have preyed on the weakness of man, nothing else. If we give from ours to the total humanity, you'll find out they will elevate. We have seen to the past few days, past few weeks, and it's not coincidental, because we are doing it and people are listening, millions of people are listening. Soldiers have started disclosing that they don't want to be, and what has been wrong has got to be put right. They are coming themselves forward to this. Nobody else is doing it. We see priests and rabbis walking away very, very gradually, because it has not delivered what it was supposed to do. So we don't give to them, we give to the people who believe and they have a need to elevate their souls. Does not matter what word they say, Christ, Moses, Jesus, Buddha, and whatever, Krishna. Because they realize that what was in the power of what it was given to the prophet of the past is in their hand. And the only power is, thou shalt not steal. So when you give, you cannot steal. And because you give through your soul, you receive what you need when you need. As I said, we come and we'll see. Because as of today, the state of these religions is finished. We are all believers in God and we follow one God. And that's what we carry in our heart, which is to be correct. And you'll find out these people will wither away so fast that they don't need. When you pray, give to humanity the soul of humanity. Give to the soul of every creature on this planet and in the universe. You'll find out you still have more to give. And in that level, we all reach to the same point. So what's the worry? When I know I don't need to go to church, when I know I don't need to go to synagogue, when I know I don't need to go to a mosque, to be correct, because in space there is no mosque and church. We haven't seen one yet. And sorry, I cannot bring you back every Sunday to go to the church, and I cannot bring you back for a Friday's prayer to the mosque. And synagogue on Shabbat is definitely out of question, because we don't even know which day is the Shabbat anymore. This is the beauty of it. In understanding the theology, you understand why we teach it. Because what are you going to do in the space when there is no church? Are you going to find another being in the space to worship because he knows more than you a little bit? Or do you have the confidence that you understand? The same as the energy and food, access is through one channel. The same for you as the man in a space from any corner of this universe. This is why we do this teaching. Today's religious green or blueprint is more important than the energy blueprint or the agriculture. because this is the only blueprint which you will carry into space with you. Nobody will ask you what is the blueprint for agriculture. There is no agriculture in space. We released a number of blueprints, and now this is a blueprint of the religion, you want to call it, or the soul of the man, that you are all equal without punishment. The fear of man has been the day of justice, judgment, that what's going to happen to me. You all so horrendously criminal that if you're going to punish, there'll be none of you left. So better close the eye as a father does so generously, and allow you to start all from the fresh hymn sheet. But those who are below and down wrong know their position and their station. Punishment has never worked, and in space there is no punishment, because when you do wrong, you will see what happens to you with your own wrongdoing. We have taught you the ethos of the space. This is the ethos of the belief and life in space, and without it you shall not exist. So what's the use of fighting here, and the minute we go into space we become all one? We better become one here before we go to space, because now we can feed each other, look after each other, that we decide which one of us will go to space first. That will carry the beauty name of being from planet Earth. We have changed. The message to universal community is, we have changed, we become man of peace. Do we spend billions of dollars in creating hate between the races? Where outside the space, when the same people go to space, if there is a black, white or yellow skin, and there's nobody else, who do you ask for help to? The man you are fighting? Are we become two-faced even to ourselves? Or do we send only whites and only blacks and only yellow crafts into space? And surely the blacks will win, because the whites are too busy gathering gold of the space. They go too heavy that they go nowhere. The same with their soul. So a lot of you, especially a lot of world leaders, were scared and afraid of today, but today has come. Now you're all equal. Let's see how you fight it to be better and to give more. It's very harsh for the Jews to understand what they were afraid of has come. I told you the spring 2016 has been promised and now is delivered. Don't look into Syria, because the enemy sits within you. Your own soul with your own body. My call goes the same to those who control the wealth. Will take the wealth from you so much that you become the beggars, to give everything you have to elevate your own soul. You become the Nobel Prize people. The way Nobel disguises murder jobs with the prize, now you will give everything you have, all the murders you cause, you give to understand, to be able to be the true man of the space, because in the space you will not last very long, because your true color through your emotion is red. Let us go forward. We cleaned up the mess of thousands of years of man on his own with the name of the Creator. Let's see how we clean up the mess on the planet we've done that we brought us to this point. Is Benjamin online? Do you see Benjamin in the background?
Yes, I'm online.
Hello?
Yes, sir. Yes, Mr.
Benjamin, you have to increase your voice. Your sound is too low.
Okay. I'm online, sir.
Yes, but you're too faint. Increase your volume.
Okay, I'm increasing again.
It sounds you're speaking to us from Mars. Are you there?
Okay. Can you hear me, sir?
Yes, a bit better.
Okay. So,
Okay.
I'm online.
You're online. Okay. What do you have on the development of the cleanup from Africa?
I didn't hear you. Okay. We have what do you call it? The result, brim water treatment result released yesterday. So I have a presentation to make and also to show you some few things that I
Do you
came
want to
across.
share the screen?
Okay. Yeah.
You already know we had the data regarding the water cleanup from the sediments and materials. Have you managed to do a microbiology tests, or do we have any data?
The microbiology tests, I have taken it to the lab and they want to culture it for 3 days, and today is the 3rd day. So tomorrow, actually, it's a holiday here. So maybe when the holiday resumes, that is when I will get the results of the treated microbiology test.
Have you got any results at all from them yet?
Not yet. Not yet. And then I have sent some samples to the reactor session for a nuclear test to be done on the sample from Ofin and then Pra. So they are also doing that. So when we come back from holidays, I will get all the results in this area concerning the microbiology and the nuclear test. But for now, like I shared with you the other day, I use copper nitrate and converted it into COU, copper oxide gas, and then use it to treat the Brim River, polluted river. And the analysis is what I have to share with you today. In fact, Nash should have joined us here, but there are a lot of work for him because of the coming of the IEA boss here, Mr. Yukiya Amano here. So a lot of work was piled on him and they have to do other things. So he told me he will be here, but he has not honored his word. By being here, maybe he's taking care of some of the jobs, that were piled up. So, but I have done a presentation and I'm ready to share with okay, so I'm going ahead. Share screen, and we go to PowerPoint. So, am I online? Hello? Hello?
Yes, we can hear you.
We're waiting for you to come up.
I have shared my screen.
Yes, but we don't see anything. It's just blank.
It's blank.
It might take a few seconds.
Okay. So, if you can see now, or
no.
Okay, stop share, and then share again. So, please, can you see?
Yeah, it's coming up. It's up here.
Okay, so that is a water treatment result from Brim. The results. Brim is one of the most polluted water bodies in Ghana as at now, because I was thinking about wrapping my mind around why people go to that particular area to pollute the river. And I came across a document from this guy by Komla Jigboji Jima, Geology and Geochemical Patterns of Brimarian Gold Deposit, Ghana, West Africa. So I found out that because of the gold in this particular river, you can get gold and diamonds at the same time, and what we call alluvial diamonds. So you get a pure diamond in its pure state. So people actually like going to this area to, do the mining there. And I remember when I went there the first time, I took some pictures and then shared with Mr. Kesh, and Mr. Kesh replied back. He said, "God save that country, because the water is really, really polluted." And I have a gallon sitting in the office of Dr. Nana. When you open it, you can even smell. After closing it for some time, you see that the smell is very bad. So it's really, 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 contaminated or polluted. And Brim River is a major, what do you call it, tributary to this River Pra. As you can see on the board, on the screen, we have River Fin, and then River Enum, and then River Brim. And then these are, what do you call it, tributaries. When I say tributaries, that means they are contributing to the Pra River before it enters into the Atlantic Ocean. And so people actually like, mining, and in all this area, there are rocks, we call this rock the Brimerian rocks. And in these rocks are huge deposits of gold. And that is why Ghana even was some time ago called Gold Coast, because I learned from history that the white men that came here the first time, when they walk on the coast of Elmina, which means in Portuguese the mine. Elmina, they were working on gold. They were picking gold from the sea sand, and it recently also happened again that the same effect, was witnessed again in the same place in Elmina, that fishermen who went to shore, suddenly, started picking gold on the shore, on the seashore. So, I mean, we are blessed with a lot of gold. And that is where Pra actually enters into the sea. Elmina, the town of Elmina, if you can see it down. Okay, so let's go on. And last 3 days, I think I was listening to the radio, because it's a huge, what do you call it, discussion here in the media, as I have already hinted. And one of the guys, Mr. Benjamin Amponsa of the Water Research Institute, made a reference to this fact that, they are finding a huge problem of treating the water. And actually, to hint Mr. Keshi about what is happening, the Water Research Institute also are working in tandem with us. That means what I'm doing, they are also doing the same thing. And what I submitted, the samples that I submitted to the laboratory at GAIEC, they also had the same sample from me using the copper oxide, and they have requested to get another sample or copper oxide gans from me, so that they can treat the water again. Okay, so that is what is happening in the interim. Okay, what is and why is WQI important? Okay, WQI is actually the abbreviation for Water Quality Index. Okay, Water Quality Index is reference for physical, chemical, and biological idiosyncratic of water body. Okay, this distinctive aspect of water determines how far water can be used, and the species and the ecosystem process can support it. Okay, so that is the Water Quality Index. So we are looking at the physical, chemical, and the biological idiosyncrasies. Okay, for now, all that you have seen is mostly the physical and the chemical. The biological is what we are looking at from the lab of the GAIEC microbiology lab. And I was there the other time. I started the process with this Man Daniel in charge of the lab, and we'll soon give you the data as I have said earlier. So water quality index has a particular range. We have for good water quality, you get from 90, between 90 and 100, and excellent quality from 70 to 90. 50 to 70 is good. Medium to 50, medium is from 25 to 50, and bad is from 0 to 25. And the other day when Mr. Benjamin Amponsa was speaking, being interviewed on one of the radio stations, he made a claim that the water is so bad that it's, you know, classified in this range, that is 0 to 25, very bad. So that is what is happening here. And to wait, we have a huge problem here, and they are looking for various ways of solving this problem. And when I quote some of the amount in dollars, you shake your head, you know. But like I said, most of the things are also not within the power of the people to you know, do it, because there are political connotations with what is happening also, because most of these guys doing the illegal mining, it's the politicians and the people who are in power who supply these young people with some of these devices and to pollute the river, and they also back them, you know, so you cannot touch them, you know. Okay, these are some of the determinant factors. So if you have looked at some of the results, I'm trying to discuss this because most of you see some of these things and you don't actually understand what it means, and I'm trying to get it clear to you. So these are the factors that determines the quality of a water. That is, in some books you see it as DO, and DO is dissolved oxygen. It is the amount of oxygen that is present in the water, you know. And fecal or coliform, that is what the biological people are going to do. Bacteria are the most common biological contaminants of natural water. So these are bacteria, you know, fecal, coliform are bacteria that are most common in microbiological contaminants of natural water. And pH is the numeric scale. As for pH, I know many people have heard of it. It's the numeric scale used to specify that water is acidic or alkaline, you know. So you from 7 going, the water is alkaline, and below that is acidic. So for instance, when you take a substance like vinegar is 3.0, that is acidic, and you know. And when you take a good quality water that is, you know, tasty, you know that is alkaline, and it ranges from 7 upwards up to 10. Okay, so that is the alkalinity range. Biochemical oxygen demand is a demand for measure of the quality of water used by microorganisms. So you also find that in some cases you see something like BOD, that is biochemical oxygen demand, and it's the measure of quantity of oxygen used by microorganisms, either aerobic bacteria in the oxidation of the organic matter, so in the water. Temperature change. Temperature change can have a lot of influence on, you know, the quality of life in the water, like fishes and, you know, other aquatic bodies. So it is a change of temperature in the water, and it is either a natural change or a human-driven event which can, you know, induce these temperature changes, you know. So when you put a lot of waste materials, you can change the condition of the water and heat it. For instance, by experimentation, I have found that water is always when water, for instance, you take a water at room temperature, which is about 35 degrees, and then you add a little bit of sodium hydrochloride, you boost the temperature to about 30 plus, so you increase the temperature. So just a little bit of chemical in the water can also change the nature of the water. And total phosphate. The total phosphate is the sum of the total reactive and condensed organic phosphorus. And phosphate is actually needed for all organic life forms, like plants and human beings. And if you are a biology student and you have heard about the Krebs cycle, it supports the Krebs cycle. Actually, Krebs cycle is simple. If you, what do you call it? Somebody would take a lot of alcohol, you get a hangover. When you get a hangover, the Krebs cycle actually need water to complete it, so you get a hangover. Nitrate. These are inorganic compounds made of nitrogen and oxygen. That is NO3. One part of nitrogen and 3 parts of oxygen molecule. So that is the nitrate. Okay, and too much of it in the water can be a lot of problem to the quality of water. Turbidity, which I explained the other time, but I will explain again, is the measure of the degree to which water loses its transparency due to the presence of some of all total solid and liquid particles. So that is, in the liquid, you see it as crystal clear liquid, but they are solid that are suspended in this aqueous or liquid. They are particles that are hanging in, and if you pass a light through the liquid, then you can see through it, or you put a paper behind it and you can read through, then the water is said to be less turbid, or it's very clear. In simple terms, turbidity is the clarity of the water. So when you cannot see through the water and it's very opaque, then you say the water is very turbid, that you cannot see through. Total solid. This is the measure. It is the measure of all the suspended and dissolved solid in water. So that is the measure of suspended or dissolved solid that is what is termed total solid. So if you come across these terms, that is the meaning of it. And these are the determinant factors that determines that whether water is either clean or unclean. And there are various weights that are used to determine, So we will learn about, as we progress, we will learn about some of these determinant factors that are used in, for instance, we have the CCM, Canadian CCM WQI, that is the Canadian water quality index. The Canadian have got a nice formula for defining this determinant to check whether the quality of water is good or is not good. Okay, WHO have guidelines. So as you see in some of the results from, they have guidelines for which water is classified as clean or unclean. So we have health guidelines. These are the two main guidelines. Health guidelines, which take into account chemical and radiological constituents that have the potential to directly adversely affect human health. Okay, so in the guidelines, these are some of the things they look at. If the water is chemically clean and radiologically, it passes the test, then it's said that human being can, take it without no adverse effect. Acceptability guidelines, which include parameters that may not have any direct health effects, but result in objectionable taste or odor in the water. So for instance, when the water is more turbid, that is unclear, like the brim water, which you cannot see through. When a coin falls through it, you cannot see it down. Then we say it's objectionable. The look of it will not even, you will not get the attraction of, you know, tasting it, because it's so turbid or it's so dirty. And then when it's the more turbid it is, the probability that it will smell is, you know, there, you know. So we look, the acceptability guidelines include these parameters, you know, which directly also affect health, but in objectionable taste or odor, you know. So if the water smells, that means it's not good. And these are the guidelines, two main guidelines that the WHO accepts. Okay, so they are, like I said earlier, they are weighted, the weighted arithmetic method, you know, QI methods that are used in determining. So this is a simple formula. You know, don't be scared about the sigma sign. It's just a summation. The summation, okay, let me go gradually. The quality, the weighted arithmetic quality index method classifies the water quality according to the degree of purity by using the most commonly measured quality variables. So as you know, WQI is water quality index. So if you see the QI is the quality index, and then for each parameter it is calculated using this formula. The quality index is equal to 100, and then the estimated concentrated parameter of the analyzed water, that's the the last, you know, analyzed, or for within a given range, the analyzed parameter of the water. And then VO is the ideal value of this parameter in pure water, and it ranges from pH, which is acceptable, that is 7.0, like I have told you, that is the acceptable range of alkalinity, and then DO, which is the dissolved oxygen, you know, 14 milligram per liter. And then we have the XI, which is the recommended standard value of the ICE parameter. The unit weight for each water parameter quality is calculated using the following formula, which follows. The unit weight, which is WI, for each water quality is then calculated using the formula WI, and then divided by K over SI, okay, where K is a proportionality constant and can be calculated using the following method, that is K 1 over the sum total of the SI parameter. Okay, so these are the method that is used in calculating some of the things that you know see on the sheet, the results sheet. Okay. And in treating this water, because I've been treating a lot of people on various degrees of injuries, you know, I didn't have enough of copper oxide. So what came to mind was to use the copper nitrate, you know, copper nitrate, to be able to get nano material to be able to treat the water. So I use copper nitrate to create the nano material that was used in treating this brim water, and it gave us some interesting results, you know. But Nash is not here to, you know. I hope it is clear and it can be seen. Otherwise, I can open it.
Can you open it up, please? Is this for the sediment or is this for the water? Clear water.
For the water. For the water.
Is this what we saw last week?
Yeah. This is what you saw last time, but it is for the brim water. And actually, Nash haven't completed this one also, because I gave him sediments to work on, and then also the E. coli, the biological and E. coli, you know, results.
When would we see the sediment?
The sediment is what I'm, you know, it's very, Mr. Kesh, working here sometimes you need to pamper them, you know. It's not easy, you know, working in an environment like this, but
can we see what is the change? Can you open it up further?
You said?
Okay, yeah, okay. We don't see the, yeah, okay, that's good.
It's okay, like this. Okay, that's
the Nuclear Chemistry and Environmental Research Center. Okay.
Okay. So this is the drinkable guidelines for the WHO standard, excuse me, and then Ghana Water and Sewage standard. So we are matching both parameters, you know, and we are comparing.
I think what you've done again as before, you have put mixed columns again, because I said it says total dissolved solid, river brim control 136, river brim treated 239. The columns have been back to fronted.
Okay.
I think you better get this back to him and get this sorted, because you see.
Total solid. Total solid. That is the range. The WHO range is 1,000.
Yeah. No, you see, the control is 136, and then when you treated it, it's gone up to 239. I don't think that's correct. Or is the conductivity that way? And then you have
that was conductivity. Yeah, the one,
good.
Yeah.
The one below it, you can see
the one below it. Yes.
Solids.
Sorry, the one below it.
Yeah, 63.5 and 1161 has gone way up for the treated water. Is that correct?
Yeah, this is the total TDSS. That's the total dissolved solid.
Yeah, it's gone
up. Way up on the treated. Shouldn't it be the other way around?
No. Normally the range is 1,000.
No, we're not talking about the range. You see, the figure 63.5 is in the wrong place. It should be in the other column.
Okay.
Or is it 11.61?
Mr. Kesh, this is the, what do you call it, the control. The control is...
Yeah, we understand that. There is some discrepancies on that total dissolved solid.
Okay.
You understand? It's 11.6 or is it 63.5?
Yeah, I will have them, you know, look at.
Get it checked, because this is very. It's the same with your calcium at the bottom, and it's the same with magnesium.
Yeah.
The figures have been put back to front. You got to change your what do you call secretary. She could be dyslexic, because we see the same thing again and again, and an institute at this level should not have this kind of mistakes.
Actually, Mr. Kesh, Nash does a very good work, but you know, he and one guy here, they do a very good work, but
no, it's just entering the data, which is
entering the data. Everybody is in a hurry here, you know.
Yeah, but when you get them next time, look at it before you present it. Tell them they got to change it, because it's very easy to see.
Okay.
We see this with copper oxide.
So it's way like the turbidity is very high, you know. That is.
Yeah, if you look at the apparent color, is a huge difference.
Yeah.
Even with the true color, it's a huge difference.
Yeah. So there's a huge what do you call it, difference. Only that the water is so polluted that if you treat it, you even see that, you know, it's, what do you call it, the sediment that
Hello.
Hello. Yes. Hello, Benjamin.
See if he comes back. Give him a few seconds. If not, when he comes back, we can, because this is the last page on his presentation. But we see the changes are huge. Notice the calcium and notice the total magnesium. They've written in the wrong way. And we'll come to this later on in the other part of the presentation. Okay, he's not back. We lost it. Yeah. We see the changes are very drastic, and you will come to understand exactly what is going on later on in the other part of the teaching this morning. If you are from Japan, if you are from China, if you are from West Coast of United States, and if you are from Ukraine Central European section, the last part of this teaching today will shock you. Will shock you in a way how there's a huge, huge change on its way, and how we as a Keshe Foundation people can bring that change about. Can we go to Renan? Is Renan there now that we lost Ghana? Renan?
Hi, sir. Good morning.
Hi, good morning, Renan. You are doing a lot of work in the background. What is for us to learn in cleaning up the mess we have created for ourselves? We see from Ghana that we can clean up very well. We can manage to clean up our water. So water desalination is one of the priorities when you look at this technology. What do you have to offer?
One thing that we still ongoing with the test right now, sir, is for the air quality, especially for the combustion for vehicles, and for the tests also for the for bigger scale. Eventually used, if we can use it for the vehicles, we can use it to all other engine or coal-driven factories as well. So we have made some prototypes for the system. I'll just show first the initial drawing for that decontamination system for factory setup. I'll open it for a while. I'll share screen. See. Contamination. Okay. So share screen. This is the first. It's just a concept that we are testing on.
We don't see anything.
The
you haven't shared your screen.
Oh, sorry. Is it coming out, sir?
No. Nope.
That's here. It's shared. Okay. Yeah. I will remove. For a while.
So once you select which screen to share, you also have to click on the submit button, the share button at the bottom.
Yeah, I already clicked it on, but my Zoom hang for a while. Maybe my bandwidth.
You may have to reshare. You can try to reshare.
I'm back.
Yes.
Mr. Keshe, I'm back. Sorry, I lost this.
Okay.
Hello, you're back.
So, Mr. Keshe, I'm having trouble in screen sharing for a while.
Okay, can you just sort that out, because Benjamin is back while you're sorting that out. Is that okay with you, Renan?
Okay, no problem, sir.
Thank you. Okay. We see all your programs, Benjamin. Hello, you're sharing now. Where are you gone, Renan? Can you take off?
You're sharing a screen. We see your drawing. Hello.
Brendan, did you need to share the screen?
It was the delay, so can you help me, Rick, to remove it? There's a delay.
There we go. I think we can do that. Okay, so.
My God.
Yeah.
Okay.
When Benjamin comes, just hold him back. What is happening?
Are you sharing, Brendan? Oh, there we go.
There.
Yes, there we go.
Yeah, it has a very long delay. Maybe it's my bandwidth.
Right. Okay. Good. Thank you.
Okay. Let me, Renan, let me give you a background to this before you start showing it. Okay. This is this what Renan is about to show. This is one of the options which I've asked the Research Innovation Center to look into. One of the biggest problem at the moment is the exhaust which we disperse into atmosphere. We are looking at a position possibility that we can dump the exhaust of the factories, the chimneys, into a bases made of gases, that in the process we can extract the gases, what they call the poison material or the chemicals, out of the air, and in that process going through the gas will release clean air back into atmosphere without any poisons or any other chemicals. One of the uses of this can be for exhaust of the cars, but this concept is part of the technology we are developing, and it will be gifted to the Chinese government for the position we are in Beijing and Shanghai. It was not supposed to be shown. Now it's on the screen. We can show it. This process makes a huge difference in industrial nations where chemicals are used and a small attachment on top of the chimneys or whatever at a point of exhaust can be added, that the gas extract the same chemicals from it. There is no difference between this system and what we've seen with Benjamin. Here we deliberately introduce the poisons or the gases into the gas, where in the rivers the poison and the residual were already in the water. We add CO2 or copper oxide to separate them. So it's the same principle. It's cleaning up the mess in a different way chemically, and we are waiting, and hopefully Brennan can tell us, explain to us more what is on the screen. Carry on, Brennan.
Okay, thank you, sir. So with this setup, so this is just a simple concept drawing for the decontamination or air cleaning. So it's a bubbler type, and I think most of us are familiar with bubblers. So we can resize bubblers for chimneys, cars, and other exhaust or gasoline, diesel, coal engines that are still on the industry. So with this, we capture the smoke, and when the smoke goes through the water, this can be the energized water with gases that we mix, so that we can attract the heavy metals on the bottom that we can drain out periodically and add water, more GANS water in it in a certain period of time, not to reduce the water level. So that's the concept that we're looking into, and we have made a small prototype that is just for a trial for vehicles. So I can show you the small drawing. So what so that's the arrow, the orange arrow is the smoke. So it passes through the chimney, the pipe, and it's enveloped with this container. And from this container, this can be a circular container, and the air pressurizes the water, and the air pushes back and bubbles up. So all the bubbles will be at processed energized water or the dense water, and we expect with a proper bubbling or a deeper water here in this drawing. So this is not drawn to scale. So we're looking into the deeper water level, so that it can go deep on the bottom, and the ganses that are staying on the bottom will attract or attach all the heavy materials that has been emitted by the combustion or the exhaust pipe. And from that, it comes out usually white smoke, because steam will come out. So mostly steam will go out from the chimneys and the cracks. And then we drain out here on the bottom, the drain. There will be a periodic draining to get the particular minerals or particular materials that can still be used, because we can get heavy metals in this area, and it can be utilized for different uses. So that's the whole principle of this design. And we just tried this in a car, and it worked in the car. Was already an very old second-hand SUV, and we tried it there. Once we just without the guns first, so we tried it, and it is expected. We were expecting that all these carbon smoke, the black smoke, will be attached in the water. So as expected, there was the water was darkened, and I can show you the pictures. Okay, let me first minimize. Okay. So this was the yeah. Can I stop share? Yeah, can you? Yeah, I'll share another one here. Only that. Hello, Vince. Can you hear me? Yeah. Okay. So for a while. Okay, it's coming up. So this is just a very simple experiment that we did. As you can see, we just used plastic bottles and everything just to test out. So you can see on the bottom. You can see on the bottom. This was the first one that we built, but what happened was the container here is just the water. The water is too shallow, so it pops out all the water out, and so we just made some improvised smaller version. We did, which we use this one. So we just capture it, and from there we can really the water. It is expected that all the particles that will stick to the water. So the one thing that is good with this, we put another air bubbler here, just an empty space, so that the water will not go back to the engine. but this won't be needed in the chimneys because the chimneys has a different smoke direction, so it's going up and it's not violent like the vehicle. So from this setup, we can extract here. We extracted some of the particles here that we need to test. So the other tests, which I have no picture yet, we already put a plates, zinc plates, ZO2, zinc plates, copper plates, nano-coated copper, and iron plates, iron nails, rusty iron nails inside the water with salt, so that we can create the guns, all the 3 guns inside during the process. So from that, the water that we have received, so we don't have yet results on the test on what are inside the water. So what are the metals that are captured, and also with the GANs, what are, if it is concentrated particles of heavy metals. So we expect heavy metals because this is a very old vehicle which emits very black smoke and have not been tuned up for so long already. So we still have to get the results on this one for the metals that have been harvested in this system. So just a very practical. Okay, so okay, I'll share another one. Stop share.
Brandon, has anybody done emissions before and after MagRaf unit installed on a car?
Yeah, that one has no MagRav yet. That was the control. We have the initial is the control, and that vehicle has no. We didn't do any upgrades. So that was a purely old vehicle, and so 20-year-old vehicle, and we no MagRav unit inside, no CO2 and everything. So that was the control test, and we did another test with that, still without anything, just to see what are the heavy metals that will be attracted in the water with the ganses. And we will test it when we add all the other devices, because our other cars already have devices. So we started with a new vehicle which has no devices at all. So we're doing the for that type of vehicle. So let me share this. So once yes, we will be going the emission testing, such as this one. That was the vehicle was not yet emission test. So we will do an emission testing for that, for the air instead of the water. So we're planning to have the air emission testing, and also to have the water to be tested as well. What water we have absorbed or gathered in the bubbler. So yes, we will test it with the emission testing. So I have also done an emission testing with my vehicle, which is already been with MagRav for 1 year already, and I find it. I don't have the comparison yet because my car is already 8 years old, and I already have it's already been. Before I explain it, I'll show you first the standards for Philippine standards emission testing. Let's see. Philippine standards. So the emission standards here I am comparing is for the in-use vehicles, and I have my results, and I compared the standards with my results, because long before I have already had a problem with my car, but after a year of testing, I can show you can you see already? Does that come out already? Okay. So I got this from our Philippine Emission Standard Certificate of Warranty Motor Vehicles, Department of Transportation and Communication. So this is which is my basis, the emission standards for in-use vehicles with spark ignition engines. So we have a 0.5 for the carbon monoxide percentage by volume, which is acceptable for to be passed, and the hydrocarbons, which is an parts per million as a hexane, is 250. So this is my category, 0.5. These are the previous year's standard. So this is already the new standard. They have reduced it to 0.5 instead of a 3.5. So it's becoming the standard is becoming strict. So from that, I have my vehicle lined up here. I can show you my .5 and 250. I can show this. This right here. Oh, using the new share? The new share button. Okay. That will help. Okay. New share. Okay, so this was my emission test last March, January 8, 2016. So this has been 1 year with my MagRav. So my carbon monoxide emission, expecting a 2009 year model of vehicle, gasoline model, a sedan, with a standard of 0.5. So I am only below 20% of the standard. So it's very low. With so this time, because I have no benchmark with I have not have a photocopy of the benchmark with last year, but I expect it should have been having a greater emission. So the whole year, this has been running with a MagRav car unit, single coil only, not the 3 coil. So the single coil only that is attached to my battery, and partly a little of CO2 GANS powder on the engine. I didn't put in the gasoline, so on the engine, engine oil. So that's only one time. I only added that one time, and then so with this, the hydrocarbon is only 69, which is our average standard is 250. So it's very low and very very clean. So with only the MagRav car, you can really check your emissions and check it out that you will have a very cleaner emissions eventually. Just adding the CO2 GANS in the engine itself, and also using the MagRav power unit. So this is the effect on it. So I'll be having another test later this month, just to check if it has reduced more, just to see, because I only test once a year for changing of registration. So I'll test it for another time within the year, so we can compare more on the vehicle. Some of our group here also have been testing, so we're gonna compare the notes with the motorcycle emission tests. So this is what we have right now.
Renan, what is on the CO2 reduction compared if there was a same?
The CO2, sir, they don't put any readings on the CO2. Only the CO and the hydrocarbon, the hexane.
Yeah, but okay, on your CO, what would have been a normal figure? Do you have one from last year?
That's what my problems are. The copy of last year I didn't have retrieve it, I need to retrieve it first. This is the latest one I had, but it is expected for me that my at 8-year-old car should not have passed the emission test for this type of vehicle, a gasoline vehicle that I only standardly operate. So I was shocked when I tested it last year, this January, that these are the results. So I will test another one, sir, for just to confirm if this reduced already. So I'll be expecting more reduction as the years goes by. So this is a 1-year use with the Magrab power already, since I used it. No, not 1 year. It's only since August last year. Since August last year, when we set it up until now, it's not yet 1 year. So less than a year setup. So that's why I'll be.
What is important to see that figure from last year if you can retrieve it.
I will get it, sir, for the other. Yeah, I will get it from the LTO. So from the land transportation, I have not made a copy of it. I was looking for it. I thought I have a copy with my office, so I asked for it and they didn't copy it. So this is the only data I have right now. So I can get another copy by Monday, just to test it, to compare January and Monday.
Yeah,
test.
I don't think it'll be much difference. What is important to see the last year.
Okay, I'll get the last year, sir. It's on the LTO, so just to check.
If you can get the last year, then we understand a very good, what do you call it?
Comparison
of actually what was before and what is now.
Okay, sir.
Yes, sir.
I will retrieve it, sir. Okay, so that's right now. And also Douglas has, I think Douglas is there. He has also made some for cleaning the air for the car as well, just to maintain, and it has achieved also reduction in the fuel.
Can we have Douglas on the line?
Hello, Douglas, are you there? Okay, he's not there, so I'll present it for him. He had already made the presentation. I think he has problem with his internet as well. Okay. So let me share. So did my new share? I tried new share. Did it come out?
Yeah, we see it. It says Nano and Gans Magrab.
Okay, so Douglas used this system. As you have, it's been on the internet already, the copper scrubbers intake automobiles for performance. So he used it with using 6 nano coated copper scrubbers, using the caustic T method, and some 9 neodymium earth magnets for the air intake valve. So the particular test on automobile performance using consists of 2 parts. First, the part of the test is created an air filter out of nano caustic steam coated copper scrubbers and placed into the air intake box of the test vehicle. So it's a Caravan. The second part of this test consists of the using of 6 nano coated scrubbers that are with a combination of neodymium magnets placed onto the air intake tubes via electrical tape. So starting from the farthest point of the air intake, moving inwards towards the throttle body, record data of transition. So this was used, nano-coated by caustic, and this is the air intake area, so which opened up and removed the air filter and put it under and put back the air filter. So that's the simple. Then what his results was, he got extra 35 miles per a tank full with the nano scrubbers, and he's now adding CO2 guns also in his fuel, but has achieved for at least 45 extra miles per tank full. So That's for the nano scrubbers and with additional of a CO2. And so the CO2, we only use about 10 to 15 ml of washed CO2 in all the tests that we make. Very little, very little. And I want to show a video, just to show you a video what happened to my vehicle right now that is moving, driving without, it is moving without stepping on the accelerator, as you maybe have experienced, some of you. So I'll just show the video. New share video. Let's see the video. Okay. Resume share. New share video. So just don't put the volume. So the condition here is with the MagRav unit just installed to the vehicle and some of CO2 bands for the past less than a year, so almost a year. You can see I only press the clutch. This is a manual vehicle, so I only press the clutch and it just moves by itself without pressing the accelerator. So we're just cruising about 10 kilometers per hour. So it's like moving like an automatic car. So I also tried this and driving in a steep flyover, a sky. So you can. So I observe just touching the clutch. I just do some little push on the clutch. What happens was it builds up its strength, its fuel. Then from building up, it can go up to an uphill even without pushing the gas. So it's producing its fuel by itself inside the engine. So I'm expecting it like it may be creating a hydrogen gas because of the plasma that is being produced by the coils and spread around the system. So,
Ren, that
yeah,
wasn't it. You weren't able to do that before, correct?
I have never done that before. I just had that just lately this month. Before, my car just switched off after I removed the clutch. So it's just it will stall. Yes, you're correct. So it usually stalls. Then I was shocked. Suddenly, I just had in my mind, why not try to let it move without stalling? Because I can feel the engine is already strong. So it has already built up some strength, and I think there's additional fuel that is being provided even without the putting any accelerator. So I just let it move. So that was since March 1. And right now it's been 24 days. I still do it, and I tried it already in uphill. The engine produces its own hydrogen, and it cruises through the uphill. So just use the clutch to let it. No lag, just a slow, steady going up. Then just use the clutch just to give the gears proper, not too heavy load. And when you remove the clutch, it's like gonna kick the car up, and it just cruise. So I went to the shop this day with Bernie. We checked out the car, and the mechanic, our friend mechanic, he said that it has already built up its power. That's why there's extra fuel that is being produced. That's not the gasoline anymore. So there's building of different fuel, which I expect it's hydrogen inside the engine, because the air moist that's coming in and the water or anything that will be produced there. So what also the thing that I have observed, it's already my exhaust pipe as well is sometimes there's water that will come out. So I observed that before, and right now I still observe it that comes up. And that's one thing that I have observed for this time. So today we just upgraded the system. We use another upgrade, which we